Nothing worse than a greasy shepherd's pie. Season.
Which of these comforting 70s meals do you remember sitting down to on a cold evening? Before microwaves and ready meals, British kitchens steamed with roasts, root vegetables, and the clatter of family cutlery. Share your memories, because these weren't just dinners, they were part of Britain's story. Roast potatoes. Golden, crispy edges gave way to soft, fluffy hearts as roast potatoes tumbled from the oven, their rich aroma filling every corner of the kitchen.
And that's how you make the best crispy roast potatoes.
Children pressed noses to the steam rising from the roasting tray, while parents basted and turned each spud with care, fingers brushing flour and fat. Sundays were built around this simple ritual, a sizzling tray of potatoes, olive oil or dripping glistening on each piece, salt and herbs sprinkling like confetti. Families waited patiently, mouths watering, while the first crackling bites were passed around the table. In some homes, they were fondly called Sunday treasures, a humble luxury that crowned every roast. Though now a classic side, in the 70s it was survival and celebration all in one. Would you reach for the first golden bite or savour the anticipation? Wait until 24. A dish even heartier and full of warmth is coming next. Shepherd's pie. Steam curled from the oven as shepherd's pie emerged, golden mashed potato peaks cracking slightly to reveal savoury minced meat beneath.
And that's the secret behind a really good shepherd's pie. It's all in the mince.
The aroma of onions, carrots, and slow-cooked beef or lamb filled the kitchen, drawing children from their homework or play, spoons poised in eager anticipation. Every forkful combined creamy potato, hearty filling, and rich gravy, a humble yet satisfying comfort that turned chilly evenings into warm, cosy memories. In many households, it was affectionately called the pudding pie, a name that hinted at its heartwarming simplicity. Families savoured the bubbling edges, the occasional crispy top, and the comforting repeat of this weekly ritual. Would you dive into the soft, steaming centre first or nibble the crispy potato edges? Something equally hearty is about to appear, but with a surprising twist you won't expect. Fish and chips. The golden batter crackled as steaming fillers of fish were lifted from the fryer, flaky white flesh hidden beneath a crisp, oily shell. Thick-cut chips, soft inside and slightly charred at the edges, piled high beside the fish, salt and malt vinegar dusting the air.
We've built a menu of modern British food around it, but fish and chips is the anchor of the menu.
Children tugged at sleeves, faces glowing with anticipation, while parents balanced takeaway boxes and tried to keep the first bites warm. From seaside towns to city streets, fish and chips were a ritual, quick, hearty and comforting, especially on freezing evenings. In some neighbourhoods, it was fondly called Friday's Feast, a humble tradition that could turn a simple night into a shared memory of warmth and satisfaction. Would you squeeze the tartar sauce over every chip or nibble the fish first? Soon, a dish even cosier and full of golden comfort will step into the spotlight. Stew and dumplings.
That is an amazing, hearty beef stew with dumplings.
Steam spiraled from the bubbling pot, carrying the rich aroma of tender meat, root vegetables, and a thick, savoury broth. Flour dumplings bobbed gently on the surface, soft and pillowy, soaking up the flavours beneath while children pressed noses close to the warm, fragrant steam. Every spoonful offered a taste of winter comfort, hearty chunks of beef or lamb, carrots, parsnips, and potatoes entwined with the light, doughy dumplings. In many homes, it was affectionately known as the one-pot hug, a meal that nourished both body and soul on freezing evenings. Families lingered at the table, savouring each bite as the cold wind rattled the windows outside. Would you dig into the dumpling first or savour a mouthful of rich stew together? The next dish brings a surprising twist of sweetness and warmth, something that will make even the chilliest evening feel indulgent. Bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash, buttery mashed potato, onion gravy.
Sausages sizzled in hot pans, mingling with caramelising onions for gravy. Soft mashed potatoes waited to cradle golden brown bangers, plates steaming in the frosty air. In Lancashire homes, this Sunday stick and mash was a hearty comfort, children reaching eagerly, parents sharing quiet smiles. Each forkful, salty sausage, creamy mash, sweet onion gravy, warmed body and soul alike. Would you dive for a sausage smothered in gravy or scoop a creamy mouthful of mash first? The next dish sneaks in thrift and flavour to keep kitchens buzzing. Corned beef hash. The metallic scent of tinned corned beef mingled with sizzling onions and cubes of browned potato, a simple aroma that somehow felt like home.
And there you go, a lovely bowl of comforting corned beef hash.
Families gathered around the frying pan, watching as the hash crisped at the edges, steam curling up to greet noses and warm, cold fingers. Every bite offered salty, meaty comfort paired with tender potato, a humble dish that could stretch to feed a whole household on a tight budget. In many homes, it was affectionately called the pan supper, a quick, reliable staple for busy evenings when warmth and fullness mattered most. Children stole bites straight from the pan, while parents smiled at the practicality wrapped in rich, savoury flavour. Would you reach for a crispy corner first, or mix it all together in a perfect bite? The next dish surprises with cosy sweetness hidden inside everyday simplicity, a treat that turned plain ingredients into magic. Cabbage soup.
Once it's done simmering, remove the cabbage soup from the heat.
Steam rose from a pot of shredded cabbage, carrots, and onions, earthy aromas promising warmth. Families huddled, bowls clutched in cold hands, as gentle bubbling filled kitchens in city flats or rural cottages. Known as the green hug, this simple, vital dish kept bellies full during frosty evenings. Children slurped eagerly, while parents savoured quiet reassurance from a meal that stretched to feed everyone. Would you scoop hearty vegetables first, or sip the rich steaming broth? The next bite holds a nostalgic surprise, turning humble ingredients into winter magic. Spotted dick.
There you have a properly turned out steamed spotted dick.
A dusting of flour coated the counter as suet dough hid dark, juicy raisins like little told treasures waiting to be discovered. Steam curled from the pudding basin, carrying the rich scent of sweet suet and sugar. Children craned forward, kobold eyes wide, while parents ladled warm custard over each slice, silky cream pooling around golden edges. Known as the schoolhouse pudding, this humble dessert transformed simple ingredients into heartwarming delight. Would you cut a thick slice or savour the crisped edges? Somewhere within the next classic lies a sticky surprise that will make you smile with every bite. Black pudding. The deep, earthy aroma of frying black pudding filled the kitchen, mingling with the crisp sizzle of bacon and eggs on the pan. Slices browned slowly, edges curling slightly, while children peered curiously at the dark discs, wondering if their bold taste would match the rich scent. Families savoured each bite with buttered toast, the savoury, iron-rich flavour warming stomachs and hearts alike on chilly mornings. In many homes, it was affectionately called the breakfast warrior, a hearty start that promised energy for long school days or icy commutes. If you're loving this trip through 1970s kitchens, hit subscribe now to follow every nostalgic bite. Parents smiled at the tradition, knowing this humble dish carried both history and sustenance. Would you try the spicy centre first, or nibble the crisp edge for a crunch? If your taste buds thought they'd seen it all, the next winter favourite will challenge every expectation of comfort food. Bubble and squeak. The kitchen filled with the comforting sizzle of shredded cabbage, carrots, and leftover roast potatoes hitting the hot pan, steam curling upward in savoury waves. Each morsel browned beautifully, crisp at the edges, yet tender in the middle, while children pressed noses close, noses twitching at the earthy, roasted aroma. Families gathered around the pan, forks poised to scoop up this humble, hearty medley, a clever way to transform yesterday's leftovers into today's winter warmth. In some homes, it was affectionately called the Sunday Shuffle, a dish that carried both thrift and comfort in every bite. Would you reach for a crispy corner first, or scoop up a soft, melty patch packed with flavour? One more winter classic is waiting, and it's a treat that will make you rethink how simple ingredients can feel extraordinary. Jam roly-poly. Steam curled from the pudding basin as soft suet dough revealed thick, sticky swirls of ruby jam. The sweet aroma filled kitchens, drawing children close with spoons poised and eyes wide, while parents carefully sliced the roly-poly, ladling warm custard over each portion. Every bite offered a playful balance, tender, crumbly pastry and rich, fruity sweetness that turned rainy afternoons into cosy, memorable moments. In some homes, it was nicknamed the schoolhouse roll, a humble treat that transformed simple ingredients into comfort and delight. Fingers dusted with sugar and spoons dripping custard made each serving feel like a small celebration of warmth and nostalgia. Would you dive straight into the jammy centre, or savour the soft edges first? A different kind of indulgence awaits on the table, one that hides a sticky surprise you might never guess. Liver and onions.
And delicious ingredient that you can use for a very basic.
The rich, savoury aroma of frying liver mingled with the sweet scent of slowly caramelising onions, filling kitchens with a comforting, earthy warmth. Slices of liver browned gently in the pan, edges crisping while the onions softened into golden, fragrant ribbons. Children peeked curiously, some hesitant, some eager, as parents plated generous portions alongside mashed potatoes or buttered toast. In many homes, it was affectionately called the frugal feast, a simple yet hearty meal that nourished bodies and stretched budgets during cold winter evenings. Every forkful offered tender, iron-rich flavour complemented by the mellow sweetness of onions, a taste both bold and familiar that made winter dinners feel substantial and satisfying. Would you try the caramelised onions first, or dive into the liver's rich, earthy centre? Hidden nearby, another humble dish is ready to transform simple ingredients into something unexpectedly heartwarming. Mushy peas.
That is absolutely perfect.
Steam rose from the bowl of vibrant green peas, gently mashed to a creamy, comforting consistency. The earthy, sweet aroma filled the kitchen as children dipped spoons cautiously, their eyes widening at the unusual texture. Served alongside fish and chips or roasted meats, this humble side was a staple of winter dinners, turning simple ingredients into a warm, satisfying accompaniment. In some households, it was affectionately called the green blanket, a nod to its ability to wrap meals in colour and comfort. Families remembered pressing the peas between their forks, tasting the gentle sweetness while the winter chill lingered outside. Would you scoop a thick, velvety mouthful first, or pair each bite with a crisp chip for contrast? Around the corner, another nostalgic favourite waits, one that will surprise your senses with its unassuming warmth. Toad in the hole.
Get amongst it and have a little try.
The rich scent of golden Yorkshire pudding batter baking in the oven mingled with the sizzling aroma of sausages, filling kitchens with mouth-watering warmth. Children pressed noses against the oven door, watching the batter rise and bubble around the plump sausages, while parents checked for the perfect golden crust. Every forkful offered a playful contrast. Crisp, airy pudding encasing juicy, flavourful sausages, a hearty dish that could turn a simple evening into a shared celebration. In many homes, it was affectionately called the Sunday Snuggle, a meal that wrapped warmth and comfort around the whole family. Fingers brushed crumbs, plates were eagerly passed, and laughter often accompanied the first bites. Would you tackle a sausage trapped in the golden pudding first, or savour the light, fluffy edges before anything else? Hidden in the corner of the kitchen, another humble treasure waits, a dish that transforms modest ingredients into pure winter delight. Potato cakes.
Leftover mashed potatoes, crispy on the outside and loaded with melty cheese.
The sizzling sound of grated potatoes hitting a hot pan filled kitchens with anticipation, the aroma of lightly fried edges curling through the air. Golden discs formed quickly, crisp on the outside and soft in the middle. While children hovered nearby, eager to taste this simple yet satisfying snack, families savoured them hot from the pan, sometimes sprinkled with salt or served alongside a Sunday roast, each bite offering warmth and nostalgia. In some homes, they were affectionately called the pan gems, a humble comfort food that could stretch leftovers and brighten a chilly evening. Fingers brushed crumbs, and the soft, tender centres melted in mouths, making each serving feel like a small, cherished victory. Would you bite the crisp golden edge first, or sink into the soft, fluffy centre? Around the corner of the winter kitchens, another heartwarming classic waits, turning humble ingredients into cosy magic. Treacle sponge pudding.
Light, spongy, steamed pudding with golden syrup, amazing vanilla custard. It's an
Golden treacle oozed from the soft sponge as steam curled from the basin, carrying a rich caramel aroma that wrapped the kitchen in warmth. Children leaned close, eyes wide with anticipation, while parents carefully cut generous slices, letting custard pool around the edges. Every bite combined sticky sweetness, soft sponge, and a comforting richness that made cold winter afternoons feel indulgent. In many homes, it was affectionately called the golden hug, a dessert that transformed simple ingredients into pure warmth and joy. Fingers brushed syrupy crumbs, spoons dripped with treacle, and the comforting scent lingered long after the last plate was cleared. Would you dig straight into the syrup-laden heart, or nibble the soft, spongy edges first? Hidden in the folds of winter kitchens, another timeless treat waits to surprise with its rich, nostalgic charm. Scotch broth.
Look at that.
Steam rose in gentle curls from a pot of Scotch broth, carrying the earthy scent of tender barley, vegetables, and slow-cooked meat. Families gathered around the table, spoons poised to scoop the hearty, warming soup into bowls that radiated comfort. Each mouthful offered a satisfying blend of soft barley, sweet carrots, and savoury meat, a humble dish that nourished both body and spirit on cold winter evenings. In some homes, it was lovingly called the winter blanket, a recipe that wrapped everyone in warmth and familiarity while stretching a modest budget. Children slurped eagerly, savouring the tender vegetables, while parents took quiet pride in a dish that had fed generations. Would you focus on the thick, chewy barley first, or chase the tender meat hidden below? In a corner of the kitchen, a sweet surprise waits, one that will turn simple ingredients into pure indulgence. Peas pudding.
There we are, guys. Peas pudding made. Full of good.
The soft golden paste of split peas shimmered on the plate, its gentle aroma mingling with the smoky scent of sliced ham nearby. Families spread it thick on warm buttered bread or served it alongside hearty roasts, each bite offering a creamy, earthy flavour that was both humble and satisfying. In many homes, it was affectionately called the green gold, a simple staple that could stretch a meal and warm stomachs on frosty evenings. Children poked at it curiously, tasting the smooth texture with tentative bites before declaring their favourites, while parents smiled at its quiet practicality and subtle richness. Would you scoop a generous mouthful with your fork or layer it carefully over crisp bread first? Lurking behind this humble dish, another winter favourite awaits, a sweet indulgence that transforms ordinary ingredients into golden comfort. Sausage rolls.
Hello again, my name's John. I'm a retired cook from the northeast of England in the UK.
The scent of golden, flaky pastry filled the kitchen, mingling with the spicy aroma of seasoned sausage hidden within. Children crowded around the baking tray, eyes wide as warm rolls emerged from the oven, steam curling from each end. Every bite offered a satisfying crunch followed by rich, meaty flavour, a snack that could turn an ordinary lunch or tea time into a small celebration. In many homes, they were affectionately called the little treasures, easy to grab, share and savour, with sticky fingers and eager smiles. Parents often watched with quiet pride as these humble rolls disappeared within moments, leaving only the faint scent of pastry and spice lingering in the air. Would you tackle the crisp golden edge first, or sink into the soft spice centre for the first bite? Just beyond the oven's warmth, another nostalgic delight waits, one that surprises with sweetness hidden inside simplicity. Spam fritters. The sizzling aroma of fried spam filled the kitchen, mingling with the golden scent of hot batter crisping around each slice. Children leaned close, curious about the salty, meaty treat, while parents flipped fritters carefully in the pan, ensuring each one emerged golden and steaming. Every bite offered a satisfying crunch followed by hearty, savoury flavour, a quick, economical meal that could fill bellies and lift spirits on cold evenings. In many homes, it was affectionately called the pan treasure, a humble dish that turned simple tinned meat into something surprisingly indulgent. Fingers brushed crumbs, laughter punctuated bites, and the warm, comforting scent lingered long after the last fritter disappeared. Would you dive into the crisp outer layer first, or savour the tender, salty centre? Hidden behind the frying pan, another playful winter favourite waits, a sweet surprise that transforms ordinary ingredients into sticky delight. Bread and dripping. The rich, savoury aroma of leftover roasting fat spread across thick slices of fresh bread, filling kitchens with a simple, comforting scent. Children watched eagerly as parents spread the golden, slightly crunchy dripping, sometimes sprinkling a pinch of salt to bring out its deep, meaty flavour. Each bite offered a unique combination, soft, warm bread with a rich, indulgent layer that transformed humble leftovers into a satisfying treat. In many homes, it was affectionately called the golden sandwich, a reminder that simple ingredients could bring warmth, sustenance, and a touch of luxury to everyday meals. Fingers brushed crumbs, lips smacked in delight, and the aroma lingered, a memory of kitchens bustling with both thrift and care. Would you bite into the crisp edge first, or savour the soft melting middle? Just beyond the kitchen table, another modest classic waits, a hearty winter comfort that surprises with every mouthful. Potato and leeks soup. Steam curled from the pot, carrying the gentle aroma of simmering leeks and tender potatoes, a scent that promised warmth on cold evenings. Families gathered around the table, bowls steaming as spoons dipped into the creamy, comforting soup. Each mouthful offered a subtle sweetness from the leeks and silky texture from the potatoes, a humble dish that nourished both body and soul. In many homes, it was affectionately called the green hug, a simple, hearty favourite that could stretch to feed everyone and chase away winter chills. Children slurped eagerly, while parents savoured the quiet satisfaction of a meal that was as economical as it was comforting. Would you scoop the creamy centre first, or swirl through the tender chunks for a medley of texture? Just beyond the spoon, another rustic winter classic waits, a modest dish that surprises with its rich, hearty comfort. vegetable pie.
Believe me if I told you this wasn't.
The warm golden crust hid a steaming medley of carrots, peas, and potatoes, the scent of buttery pastry mingling with the earthy aroma of cooked vegetables. Children peered eagerly as parents sliced generous portions, the soft filling bubbling slightly with every cut. Each bite offered comforting flavours, tender vegetables wrapped in crisp pastry, a humble meal that could satisfy even the hungriest winter appetites. In many homes, it was affectionately called the garden treasure, a clever way to stretch ingredients during tighter budgets while still delivering a heartwarming dish. Fingers brushed crumbs, spoons savoured every bite, and laughter often accompanied the first servings. Would you dive into the rich, bubbling centre first, or nibble along the crisp edges for contrast? Nestled in the heart of the kitchen, another comforting favourite waits, a dish that turns simple vegetables into winter magic. Jam sandwiches.
So I take my jam and I use my butter knife.
The sweet, fruity aroma of raspberry or strawberry jam spread across soft slices of bread, filling kitchens with a simple, cheerful scent. Children pressed spoons into jars of sticky jam, spreading it thickly while giggles echoed as fingers got delightfully sticky. Each bite offered a perfect balance of soft bread and sweet, fruity indulgence. A humble, quick meal that could brighten lunchboxes or tea-time trays. In many homes, it was affectionately called the Little Joy, a treat that could be made in moments yet leave lasting memories. Parents watched with amused smiles as crumbs fell and jam dripped, knowing this simple sandwich held both nostalgia and comfort. Would you press straight into the gooey centre first, or nibble along the soft edges to savour each layer? Hidden among everyday snacks, the final winter favourite waits, a layered delight that crowns this cosy countdown with this sweet nostalgia. Rice pudding.
Classic rice pudding. That's right, this is one of those homey, comforting desserts.
Steam rose in gentle curls from the bowl of creamy rice pudding, carrying the sweet aroma of slowly simmered milk and a hint of nutmeg. Children leaned in eagerly, spoons at the ready, as each mouthful revealed tender grains enveloped in rich velvety cream. Families savoured the simple sweetness, sometimes sprinkled with a dusting of cinnamon or a spoonful of jam, turning humble ingredients into a comforting winter indulgence. In many homes, it was affectionately called the winter hug, a dessert that could warm hearts as well as stomachs. Every spoonful carried memories of cosy kitchens, rainy afternoons, and laughter shared over small home-cooked pleasures. After all these heartwarming dishes, which one would you reach for first if you could step back into a 1970s kitchen? From hearty roast to sweet puddings, 1970s kitchens overflowed with warmth, laughter, and comfort. Which dish would you reach for first? Subscribe to uncover more forgotten delights and tastes that time almost forgot.